one screen. Each one of these letters represents a single day of trading activity. So E is today. And we've got a higher low. We've got a higher high. And we've extended the range, and volume is very, very high in this distribution. There's your clean break right there. So this, if we can trade above that, then this 67 area right up here is the attractor. We don't know how long it's going. Lots of talk this afternoon about the Fed's getting ready to ease again. You can see that in copper and crude and gold prices. Hard to say. There's just a lot of different types of news that is whipping through the market that can bring us take the market higher and lower quickly. So that's where we are right now. Okay, Thursday afternoons are our teaching sessions, and we've had no questions for the last 2 weeks for Thursday afternoons. If we're going to have a Thursday afternoon teaching session, you need to get your questions to me and John or Scott, what you want covered on Thursday afternoons, and we'll get it done. We've been holding that afternoon open, but we met with underwhelming response of late. So if there is no interest in teaching on Thursday, all of us have things that we could be doing. Definitely a strong P right now. We are having a trouble at 1252. 1252.50 is 10 ticks above the round number at 1250. They certainly probably cleaned out every stop there was above 1250. We find ourselves at 1248, where we were building volume earlier. So very, very strong P. If we were to close this thing at 48.50, we'd be looking for a place to buy it tomorrow. Looking at our F4 screen, okay, we have a potential exhaustion bar on that run up to 52.50. Got deceleration. We have much higher volume than we've seen before. And was it a gun or a play for stops, or is it new buying? And it was minimally short covering. We have our peak volume right here on this bar. And when we break that bar's low right there, I mean, it is really straight down. And the width of these bars increased. That's the first time we've seen that kind of width on selling. Market comes up, gets back up, retests that bar's high, plus or minus 2 ticks. Got compression and deceleration on both of these bars. When you break that low right there, you're short at 50.75, and it trades right back down to the mode where the high volume number area is, and now we need follow through selling. So when you see this type of activity on this screen, you get lots of volume this way, increasing volume here, lots of volume in that point, volume here that the market doesn't know. I mean, you've got elephants running from both sides of the boat back and forth. And so we're setting up to move, and based on what we rallied on today, and the fact that this market doesn't have good support beneath it, I think we're going to get another shot at that low. And then we have to take out this low and trade lower, or short covering will take us right back up into that area. So the last hour of trading in this contract is tough. It's prime time for manipulation. The exchange members know how to play everybody. And we'll see what happens. So we are kind of in this period where the market could actually still go higher, or we might see some profit taking. Just a second. So we'll just have to see how this shakes out, but my guess is we're probably going to get a shot at that price point right there. The breakout was from 42.75 this morning, so if we break this price point, this 42.50 plus or minus is another area that we would look at. And I don't know if there's news coming out of Europe right now. I haven't been able to read from the dispatches out of Europe what the deal is, or I know that Trichet didn't get a real good response in Germany. So until the EU announces what they've got, we won't really know. Now I want to show you our F6 screen quickly, and this is all players. And what we look for on this screen is divergence. In the classical sense, I think it's the easiest way to read. That might set us up or alert us that the market is getting ready to sell, but you can see and this is the entire market. This is your tick, and this is your volume. All players, 1 lots to 10,000 lots. So this market starts back up here. It starts up a little bit here, and this is kind of flatlined right here. We get a little bit of buying late, but it doesn't go with it. So we've got higher. We got half as high on this one, and this one is flatlined. We get a little bit up here, but you can see that when this market starts to sell, all three of them quickly go to the short side, and this gives you real quick confirmation that you've got yourself a good trade on this retest of this high over here. When you break this bar's low right there, it's a good quick sell, and you get pretty quick reward on it. So we've got to break that 45 to 47.50, then we've got to break 42.75 to stay short, or buying is likely to come in. And Rich makes a great point right here. If Europe's not willing to publicly release what the deal is, and they probably don't have a real strong deal. My guess is it's going to be, and we talked about this last week, is that it's going to probably follow what had been leaked before. And with the German parliament and the German banking system saying that they weren't adding any more money to it, the way that they could get from $700 billion in US dollars to $1.4 trillion is to use leverage, and that might explain that. Okay, here's the F1 screen. We got an inside day essentially with volume very low in the distribution. So this inside day says the market's getting ready to make its next move. And if we're to fold all of this together, you're looking at a pretty pronounced B, like the market is headed south. And if we're to fold that in, That's the correct way to split these distributions. And if I come in and do an E split, that's where we are. We just have kind of this back and forth in the middle. So inside day, if you looked at this particular structure, you would be selling into strength based on the structure. Otherwise, looking at E, it's an inside day, and that just tells you the market's getting ready to move. Looking at the F2 screen, definitely a B. Definitely telling you to sell into strength to retest today's lows. The F1 screen's an inside day saying it's getting ready to move. And so this is where we fine tune our market calls. And this one favors lower prices. So selling early strength to see if we can extend today's price range lower makes the most sense to me. Now we closed at 11 right here. So the first little band of resistance is right there. There's one. We got this little high volume area right in here. So there's 2. Here's 3. And we'll pick this up as 4. So we've got resistance at 16 plus or minus, 20, 21, 24, 25, the day session opening. The overnight session's high is 27.5 in the bucks. We'll make it 28 to the buck. And that's where resistance is. Okay, on the downside, we had a low of 9. So there's 7. So this is 1. We have a little volume at 4. There's 2. Got the round number at 128. There's 3. And we have our 27, 24 to 28, which is 4. That's where support is. Okay, with a close at 11, we have all that resistance at 15 to 17, so they might go get stops above that. So the first sell zone is 15 to 19. And if we happen to trade above that, 23 to 27. And you're going to have to really watch the news and what the E-mini does, because this market, until Europe makes its announcement, is really subject to whipsaws. And like Richard said, the deal probably hasn't changed much from where it was last weekend. If Germany's not going to pump more money into it, it probably can't really change much. Okay, we have stops below 7. The market is close enough to get that. And again, it depends on what the E-mini does. But on the assumption that they might get stops below 7, and the market is still on hold for an official EU announcement, we'll make our first buy zone down there, 01 to 05. And that would be predicated on an E-mini that's sideways. And that's it for me. Any questions? Had a good day. We were spot on the, well, really close on our sell on the note. We missed it by 3/30 seconds. On the E-mini, we'd hoped to buy the 30 to 32 to see if we could extend the overnight sessions range. We could have sold the 40 to 45 area too. depending on what happened up there. But I mean, it was all buying, and it would have taken 34s. They came in right, so it would have taken 33s to 35s to get in on our original idea in the market. Traded what, 20 points up to 52.50. So not perfect on our entry levels, but we did have the direction right on the markets, and we'll be waiting to see what the EU says overnight. We're currently trading at 47 and a quarter, 47.25. If we get through that, then we've got to take out that 42.50, 43 area to stay with the short. Otherwise, we're most likely to get some short covering into the close. If there are no questions, we'll go ahead and book it. We'll see our regulars plus the guests in the room tomorrow. Y'all have a great evening. See you at 0700 hours Central Daylight Time, mañana.